It is Mango Madness. One popular cake shop is using the fruit to add a tropical twist to buttercream and more.
CBS 2's Stephanie Tantillo shows us how in today's Market to Table.
Mangoes are a universally loved fruit. They are sweet and they have great nutritional value. Let's talk about selection and storage. When you see mangoes in the store, the color isn't as important as the fragrance. You want to make sure it's giving off a nice, sweet aroma. Hold a mango in your hand and give it a little squeeze. It should have a slight yield to the touch. Now, if you see a couple of black spots, that's actually okay. It just means it has a high sugar content. And who doesn't love a little more sweetness? Now, when you bring mangoes home, make sure you store them on the counter in a dry place. They only last about 2 days, so you want to eat them up pretty quickly. Now, what I really want to try to do with these mangoes is we're going to head over somewhere great, and we're actually going to make cake.
Sugar Flower Cake Shop specializes in custom-made cake using all naturally sourced ingredients.
Hey everybody, it's time to make cake. I'm here at Sugar Flower Cake Shop with Amy, so why don't you tell us how we're going to do this today?
Sure, we are going to make some mango buttercream. The way we make buttercream, we need to be able to cook some sugar. So it's sugar and water. And while we're doing that, we're going to whip our egg whites. So this is kind of a way to have buttercream, a little different from American buttercream. The style is called an Italian meringue buttercream. And with the egg whites in here, see how fluffy that gets?
Yes.
It's nice and light and airy. And so once we get to that stage, we're going to add in just a little sprinkling.
What kind of sugar are you using?
This is just a natural cane sugar. So what you want to do is when you're looking at whether or not it's at soft peak, right, you want to look at whether it's holding on the whisk.
Oh, good tip.
And so if you just kind of turn it over, if it falls over, it's still at soft peak. But once it gets to a hard peak, it'll actually stay straight up. I'm going to just slowly pour in my sugar. I want to be careful not to get it on the beater. And so this is now a meringue.
Okay.
And then as it's cooling, then we're going to start to add our butter.
Now this butter's at room temperature, right?
It's pretty much, it's been softened in the microwave, so you could just leave the butter out.
The butter is whisked in 1 spoonful at a time, so it's totally emulsified, and continuously whisked for 20 more minutes until the buttercream is cooled down.
So meanwhile, she's going to make our mango puree.
Cut off the skin, cut out the pit, and then just diced it up. And it just goes into the food processor.
Amy slowly pours in the mango puree into the buttercream.
So we're going to actually fill our cake so that it has 4 layers of cake and 3 layers of filling. Just going to reach over here. When we fill our cakes, we like to run a dam of our icing flavor on the outside, because once we go, we're going to add some more of that mango puree.
This is just the mango puree, right?
This is just straight mango puree, exactly. So what this is doing is just going to soak right into the cake. So it's just a
So the cake is actually
layer.
like a sponge for this right now.
Exactly. And then we're going to add even more mango
with the
buttercream on top.
Amy repeats those steps for each layer of the cake and pops it into the refrigerator for about 20 minutes before she ices the outside.
And I like to use a pastry bag with an icing tip. It's a serrated tip, so it makes everything stick, and it makes it super easy. Watch what happens when I turn it around.
Yep. This is actually, the icing is the same steps we used for the buttercream before, only instead of adding the mango puree, she added in vanilla extract.
And then my secret for getting everything nice and smooth is using a bench scraper. So when I hold that, straight up and down, and then I can go around my cake, just pulling up a little bit of icing, but just to make sure that it's the same height and the same width.
The cake is smoothed out a few times, then is put back into the refrigerator so the butter firms up and it is smoothed out a final time.
So I'm just going to add a few. We always like to finish off our cakes with some, with a little border around the bottom. And then we're ready for all of our decorations. So we at Sugar Flower Cake Shop specialize obviously in making sugar flowers, go figure. So I thought we could put a few flowers onto our cake.
Each unique sugar flower is made individually, and for this cake, we even have sugar mangoes.
Okay, well, Amy, I can't thank you enough for showing us how to make this absolutely beautiful decorative cake with real mangoes inside. It's just going to be delicious. I can already tell.
I hope so. Tell me how it is.
Okay, for CBS 2 News, I'm Stephanie Tantillo. Wow. It melts in your mouth in just all the right ways.
It looks almost too pretty to eat, but I think we would find a way.
Exactly.